Hi everyone, Kim here for Treasure Lake Kit Club. What I've got for you today is a tutorial. What's in front of you is our July mixed media kit. And before we get into creating a project, we're going to go through some of the properties of the foundry wax and how to use that. Because this is something new for me. And it may be something new for you too. It's different from the other types of beeswax. So we're going to do a quick tutorial on how to use the foundry wax, and then I'll be back later on creating a project from our entire mixed media kit. Now the whole kit can be found on our website at www.treasurelekits.com. You can purchase this kit, but to make sure that we never sell out on a kit, you can go ahead and subscribe. This kit is $47. That includes your shipping. And again, you can find that on the website and just go up to subscribe and click on that. It is a standalone kit. You don't need any of our other kits. We give you mediums, and we also give you a project to use your mediums on, so that you can open your box up and get to work right away with just a few things from your stash and create some nice mixed media projects. But it also helps you build your mediums so you have a nice stash of a variety of mediums, and we talk about ways to use them. So with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into the video on how to use the foundry wax. Okay, so jumping in, we're going to start off with our foundry wax. But to work with your foundry wax, you're also going to need a heat tool, because this does have to be heat set. I've got some tags. I've got some that are embossed, and I've got some plain ones. And then I've got some other brands of regular beeswax to show you the difference. I picked two that are close to the color of the foundry wax, and then I just grabbed one from another brand. So I'm not particularly picking on any brand. I just want to show you the differences in the foundry wax versus the regular beeswax. Okay, so we're going to have those set aside, and like I said, I've got some tags. First things first, we're going to open our wax, and as you can see, they look like alcohol ink, but they work completely different. First of all, they do have to be, you have to shake them. And in shaking them, what I did read is that the sterling one is a lot thicker. So when you shake it, you'll hear it mix, but you may not hear the ball mixing, and that's fine. Now the statue, which is like a coppery bronze, you hear that? Oops. You hear that when you shake it? That's the ball. So you want to make sure that these are mixed well. So we're going to go ahead and shake them both. The other thing with these two is you have to work pretty fast, and you need to work in small sections at a time. You also need a mat to work on to squeeze these out. As you can see, my mat is well loved. So we've got those, and a couple of other tips that I got as far as using the foundry wax too. Once you squeeze some out, make sure you put the lid back on it and you sit it away from your work surface, because when you go to heat set it, it doesn't take a lot of heat, and if the heat gets too close to your bottles, you're going to end up setting your bottles, and then you're not going to be able to use this anymore. So make sure you move it away from your workspace once you start to heat set. All right, so again, I'm going to give them a good shake, and I'm going to start with one color first, and then the next color. And you have to work quick, so you need to work in small sections at a time. I'm going to take a little and squeeze it out. Directions say use a brush, but watching Tim's video, you can also use your finger, and you take it and you spread it out, and it's a little liquid. And the more it dries, you see it's getting a little creamier, and you can spread it out, and then you're not going to have anything left. You're just going to have what's on your finger. So that's just a little bit, and then it completely turns to dust. I don't know if you saw that, but what's on my finger is now dust, and there's nothing left on my mat. So I'm going to go back in again with a little bit more. And mine is probably drying a little bit faster because I do have my ceiling fan on, and so once it hits the air, it completely goes to dust. So did you see that part there? All right. So that's the statue. I've got some baby wipes here, but he also said that alcohol wipes are probably better. Although the baby wipe does clean it off. So I'm going to clean that. And now I'm going to go in with the sterling. Again, I'm shaking it. I can hear it move, but I don't hear that ball bouncing. So now I'm going to squeeze out a little bit. Put my lid on, move it off my work surface, swirl my finger in, and it's already getting creamy. And the difference in these is, Tim said these are liquid metals, so they do have to be heat set. And again, wiping off my finger. And it is wiping off, like I said, with the baby wipe. But I want to go back in with a little more of the statue because it doesn't seem as thick, as vibrant as the silver. Looks like I just didn't use enough. So we're going to go back in with a little bit more of that. And again, off my work surface. If you get in the habit of moving it right away, then you'll be good. There we go. All right, so now I've got more of the statue and I've got some silver. And what I'm going to do also is I'm going to take, I got aged brass from the Prima Art Alchemy metallic wax, and I'm going to take some of that. And if you open yours and you see the white on the top, it's not mold, it's some of the wax from coming up to the top. It's still good. I'm going to swirl my finger in here. And again, I'm going to spread some wax on. I'm going to wipe that. And then I'm going to go into the old silver. And again, I'm just using these colors because they're similar. Okay, so we've got those two colors on there. And wipe my fingers a little bit more. Now what we're going to do is we're going to heat set so you can see the difference. All right, now while they're still wet, you can still smudge these a little bit. You can still smudge them out. But once you heat set them, they won't move. And so I'm going to hold this close so you can see the difference. You'll see the high shine, and it doesn't take much heat to heat set these, but all of a sudden you'll see that high shine. And I don't know if you see the change, but it is there. So now you've got that super high shine, you've got that metal shine on those. And those will not transfer now. There is no transfer whatsoever. Let me clean my finger. And you know what? Just for sake, let's heat set the bottom ones too. And as you heat set them, with these, because they're beeswax, they tend to melt. They don't set. So now that everything is heat set, we're going to go across them and see if there's transfer. The top is the foundry wax, and you'll also feel a difference. There's no transfer. You will actually completely feel a difference. Now I go down to the ones with the beeswax. You see the transfer? There's still transfer. And they still smudge out. So basically the foundry wax is permanent. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a brush as well so we can see how this works with a brush. And you never have to worry about your brush getting dirty with the foundry waxes because it dries so fast and it turns into a powder. You'll be able to literally just brush this off of your brush. So again, we're going to go back and we're going to try these with the brush now. A little bit. It's liquid. Got my brush in it. And we're just going to brush that back and forth. And as you can see with the brush too, you get a bit of a different texture. And see now, as I'm brushing with my brush, all you see is powder. This is completely turned to powder. Can you see that there? So I can just do a quick swipe and it's gone. And then I can go to my next color. I take my brush and I want to work as quickly as I possibly can. And now you see that it's in the brush, but if I do this, you see how it's turned to powder? Completely gone. A quick wipe on my wipe and my brush is now clean. You see that? But you see the different texture. And again, right now it's not heat set and you can still smudge this out a little bit. You see the edges get smudged out and it's got transfer. Same thing here. You can smudge it out some and I've got transfer. But now we're going to heat set it. And you should be able to see it turn real quickly. All done. And now I've got that high shine. I'll clean my fingers again. No transfer at all. All right, let's see this on, I took a tag and I just ran it through the embossing, and let's see how it works on something that's embossed. Actually, we're going to use this one. It's got a little more texture all over. Now, these only come in 4 colors because you cannot color them, because once you heat them, the metal will come back out, so they cannot be colored. So you're only going to end up with the metal stuff. And the more you use, like I put on quite a bit here at the top, trying to use up everything that I've got here. And depending on the medium that you use, now I'm going to use a little with my brush, and then I'm just going to brush over. When you use a brush, you hit more of the high points versus when you use your finger and you get down inside the crevices. So this was me with my finger, and you see how I got down inside some of the crevices, but down here is a brush and it just hit more of the high points. But again, because it's still wet, or at least it's still a little creamy, and it's not heat set, you can go in with your finger and try and spread some of this out. You're not going to be able to spread a whole lot, but you will be able to spread some of it out. Alrighty, and let's take the silver. We're going to use the beeswax on the other corner. The color's a little off, but I want you to see the difference once I heat set it, what they're going to look like. You're going to get a higher shine again from the foundry wax than you will the beeswax. Now that doesn't mean the foundry wax is better, it just means that it's a different property and you're going to get two different effects. And I'm going to try and overlap here on the edges to see what we can do, you know, to make these work together to give us a little bit of something different. Okay, so down here now we've got the beeswax, and up here we've got the foundry wax. And again, I'm going to close that up and I'm setting these aside. Now we're going to take our heat gun and we're going to heat, and I want you to see the change in the foundry wax again. All right, it doesn't take a lot of heat to heat set it. So now if you can see that high shine there versus the beeswax, it's got a shine. But again, the difference is going to be this you can still manipulate, this you can't. And once you run your finger over it, you'll be able to feel the difference. But this is our tag using the foundry wax. And you can also layer on top of that. We're going to take, I'm going to clean my brush, and we're going to take some of Statue, and we're going to layer it right on top with the brush. So you're almost like dry brushing. And I'm going to layer some on top of the beeswax as well. All right, you can see it a whole lot more with it being heat set. Hopefully you can see that. Hopefully it shows up on camera, but do you see that? So you can actually layer your colors too, and they look really nice. And you can actually work with both products together. You can also work with each one individually. But what I wanted to do is show you some tips and tricks on using your foundry wax before you get started on using your kit. And actually I didn't even use the other color. I'm going to take, now with regular beeswax, what's nice is you can take like big pieces of this over the top. I'm trying to see if I can get a big chunk over it. Or better yet, I had a big chunk of the silver. You can take like a bigger piece and layer that on there, but then you can heat set it. And now this is the difference between the beeswax and the foundry wax. You can heat that to the point where it will melt, and it'll give you a lot thicker coverage. So that's that beeswax melted, and you've got all that coverage. And again, once you heat set it, you can still manipulate it versus the foundry wax, because again, that foundry wax is liquid metal. Once it's set, it's set. So remember that when you're doing your project and you go to heat set it, that once it is set, and that is it. So this has been the difference, or some tips and tricks on using the distressed foundry wax that's in our August mixed media kit. I was going to say July, that's why I paused there for a minute. So head on over to the website, pick up your kit, but before you do that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on this video into our channel, then that way you'll be notified, that's if you hit the notification bell, as to when we upload another video, and you'll be able to see me create a project using the foundry wax, and I'll probably use some of the regular beeswax as well, and using the whole kit. But again, this has just been some tips and tricks on how to use the foundry wax. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next video. Bye.